The reality is that we don't need big things to help us manage our stress. We actually need really little things and consistent things and things that are, we have at our immediate disposal, like our breath.
The education landscape is constantly evolving. Staying ahead of the trends is essential. Welcome to Ed Buzz LA County, where we explore groundbreaking initiatives, inspiring stories, and innovative practices shaping the future of learning here in Southern California. The school day doesn't just stay at school. We carry the stress, the noise, and the pressure home with us. Today, we're talking about how to put that weight down. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Graswich, Executive Director of Public Affairs and Communications, and I'm joined today by Dr. Emily Hernandez, the Director of EASE, and a very special four-legged friend who is Willie, a therapy dog. We'll be talking more about Willie in a little bit. We're going to show you how to use your body, your breath, and even your pets today to reset your nervous system and find your calm in the chaos. Glad to have you and Willie joining us today.
Dr. Graswich, I'm happy to be here.
I'm so excited. This is the first time we've had a guest appearance from a dog, and I'm a dog lover, so I'm pretty excited.
I'm excited too. We're both excited.
Good.
Willie's a little tired.
Understandably. But we want to just get started kind of in talking about, our kind of everyone in our environment is involved with the topic of stress, students, staff, families, what's happening with people's nervous systems?
I think when right now there is a lot of stress going on, and also education is a very stressful public sector. But whether you're talking about professionally or students in schools or just the world that we live in, we're constantly experiencing stress, and really stress is a perception. So everybody experiences it different. And what happens is when we experience a stressor or a perceived stressor, it pushes our body to kind of go into the stress response or a stress cycle. And what can happen is if we don't have awareness of the level of stress that we have, is that we can get stuck in the stress cycle response. And our bodies are really, this is what our bodies were meant to do. Our bodies were meant to respond to stress, but there's a cycle that happens, and there should be a recovery period after being exposed to a stressor. And I think that what is happening with a lot of us that are constantly in a stress response or experiencing stress reactions is that we are getting stuck in a stress cycle because we're exposed to stress so frequently, maybe not high level stress, but small, we call it like micro stress, that our bodies aren't having opportunities to catch up and to recover. And so what it does is it keeps our bodies in kind of like, it creates our baseline instead of like a relaxed rest baseline. It increases our baseline to a low activation phase. And if you don't really have awareness that that's where you're at, you may feel a sense of like anxiousness or angst all the time. And that can feel really stressful and uncomfort and just be a low sense of discomfort. And I think that that's something that's happening to a lot of people.
And there's a lot of like small things you can do to try to control that or reduce it in the moment, right? Like whether you're in your car or at your desk. What are some of those things?
There's a lot. There's a lot of small things. And I'm so glad that you said small things, because when we think about stress and stress management, a lot of people automatically think about like self-care. Self-care is like a really big word right now. And so thinking that we need really big things to take care of big stress. And the reality is that we don't need big things to help us manage our stress. We actually need really little things and consistent things and things that are, we have at our immediate disposal, like our breath. things that we could do at work, like you mentioned, like either in your car or sitting at your desk. If we can be more aware about stress in our life and how our own bodies react to stress, we want to be doing things throughout the day to be able to manage that stress instead of waiting and pushing ourselves until we're at a point where we feel, well, the stress is unmanageable. It's really difficult to manage stress when you're already at an unmanageable point, or maybe like at a point of crisis. So we want to get in front of it and do more prevention work, and do little things. So you mentioned the car. For so many of us that work during the day and we have, our daily routines of getting to work and coming home from work, the car can be a really great tool. It can be a tool where you can kind of create safety. You can create a routine in the car. You can have all of your favorite things in the car, the things that make you feel safe. You can also do some breath work in the car. People use also like music to be able to activate your mood or to bring down your mood. Silence also is a tool. So I really think that the car or your commute home or your commute to work should be a part of your stress management or your self-care routine. It really is, it's a decompression tool, especially after the day. I know especially like in my work as a therapist, we carry a lot throughout the day. And so one of the things that we need to learn is how are you able to separate the work that you do? And, many of us, we go home and we have, second jobs, our families, our animals, we're caregivers, all of these things. And so how are you able to kind of reset from your work day and be able to enjoy your family, do the things that you need to do. And so you can use your transition as a decompression tool. It could be a 3-minute pause in your car, taking some breaths before you go in. But the important thing is to not do one-offs, right? We want to do things as consistently as possible because the body has something that we call muscle memory. And the more that you're able to engage in these little things throughout the day, the more quickly your body will respond and engage and activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to calm your body.
I think you actually first taught me box breath. I had you join one of my staff meetings during COVID, and they were working so hard. They were so stressed, and I was just looking for like tips and tools, and you came in and taught us box breath.
If anyone asks me what is, if you had to pick one tool to help manage stress, I always start with the breath. It's the one thing that can, that's free, that we don't have to pay for. It's always with us, whether we're aware of it or not. If you really think about, you should develop a relationship with your breath. It's the first thing that happens when we come into this world. And it's the last thing that happens when we leave. But yet most of us go throughout life and we never even realize, the quality of our breath, whether it's shallow, where it's fast. And so some quick techniques like the box breath, there's some other ones we could talk about later. The 4-7-8 is another really quick one. The breath is the key to regulating your nervous system. And there's a lot of other things that you can do, but I think the breath is where you should begin.
That's awesome. And that actually kind of leads into another question I had, because I know not everyone is, maybe people think about yoga or like some sort of an app, but you don't necessarily need to have a yoga mat in your office or an app on your phone. There's other things that can be done without that.
Absolutely. We're really lucky to have so many tools at our disposal. And the yoga mat, yoga is wonderful for stress management and nervous system regulation, but it is not necessary. And we all don't have access to that all the time, like you were mentioning. I think in a lot of ways, the yoga mat, what it really does become or signify is a grounding tool. And so and engaging your body in movement and breath. So if you don't have access to those tools or like an app, what are the things that those tools are helping you to do? One, it's helping you to monitor your breath and to activate your breath and to engage your parasympathetic system. So grounding is another way to do that. And so movement of your body, all of those things are going to be able to kind of bring you back into your body, which is what you need to be able to kind of calm, reset, and bring your body back to that baseline that we were talking, instead of simply always being at an activated state. The more that we do it, the quicker that it happens. And when you're learning, it might take a while, but the more that you do it, it happens more quickly, and and you feel the effects of it quicker as well.
So I've heard this term over the years, grounding technique. So is that like bringing yourself back to that baseline? Is that what that means?
Grounding is basically, so if you think about a lot of times when we're really anxious, what's usually going on is you're thinking. It's the brain is on, constant thoughts, rumination, very difficult inability to concentrate, all of these things that are happening up here. So if you stay up here, it's going to be really difficult to get out of that state. So we use grounding as a way to kind of get into our body. And one of the easiest ways to kind of get out of here and to get into here is, we call it grounding. And so that is to be really where your feet are. Are you here? Are you present? Are you in the moment? Or are you thinking about what just happened or what's about to happen? Because when we're there, or when we're thinking about what's going to happen, we're not here. So grounding is really just a term that's used for you to kind of use a tool to be able to come back to present and to come back into your body, to be able to use the techniques to be able to calm yourself.
I see.
And there's a lot of different tools that people can use for grounding.
Is there a simple one that like parents and staff could use that you could demonstrate for us?
Yeah, definitely. I think a simple one is really to just look at where you're at. Look at the room around you. One that I like to say is to look for a certain color. So pick a color and look around you and see how many things you could find that are that color. So if I say, the color red, and so you look around and look at all the things and identify all the things in your immediate surrounding that are the color that you're looking for. Another really simple one is just feeling your body. So you can feel your body sitting in the chair. Feel your legs and the pressure on the chair. Feel your feet as they touch the ground. Push a little bit of pressure. Some fun ones for families are, if they get to be outside, is to take those shoes off. Take those shoes off. Take socks off. Be barefoot in the grass. If you're at the park, or if you have an opportunity to play, take those shoes off and walk bare feet. That's like a very simple way to be able to ground. And then again, your breath is a really simple one for grounding.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that it was literally that simple to be able to do. So I'm shifting to kind of my favorite topic today, which is our furry friend, Willie. Before, if you can just even share a little bit about Willie, but also just like why pets can be an important kind of safety or help for us.
Thanks. So this is Willie. He's a certified therapy dog. He works with us here at Ease, but also works with an organization, Pause to Share, that provides different types of therapy animal events. And basically, it's the use of animals to be able to be with people and to bring comfort. There is, thanks to neuroscience, because we didn't always have this, we knew that being around animals just makes people feel happier. The presence of an animal, you see constant connection or a smile or eye contact. Animals have a really beautiful ability of being able to connect with people, sometimes even when other people aren't able to connect with. But now through neuroscience, where research actually shows that therapy animals do have a positive effect on others. in terms of their nervous system, the stress response cycle, it has an impact on heart rate. It's found to reduce heart rate in people, reduce cortisol, increase oxytocin. He loves resting too. Oxytocin, which is that chemical where it makes people feel content, happy. It's like a social buffer. It makes them want to connect with people. It's a safe social connection that people are able to connect to. It's fabulous for children. And I think traditionally you see therapy animals in schools or working with a lot of students, but through employee assistance, kind of challenging that and pushing it a little bit more and using it for staff well-being as well.
And I know Willie is actually like a frequent guest here at LACOE because he started doing the walk with you, right? And it's funny to me because like I know you all were doing the walk before, but all of a sudden he just like upped the level of the walks.
We did. You know, what we're trying to do is kind of like you said, bring these non-traditional, small, simple ways of wellness at work and in the workplace. And one of those things is movement. And so kind of reminding people, inviting people to get out from your desk, move your body, take a 10-minute walk around. So we started Walk with Willie. And because we were actually doing walks, but we weren't very popular. So when we started introducing Willie as a therapy animal and said like, well, hey, come and take a walk with Willie, we started getting more and more people interested. Not really because they wanted to interact with us, but they came for the dog. And so we like, we have something here. And so people were willing to get out of their desk, to come out of the office, to have interaction with Willie. We're able to walk around, go outside and look at nature, look at the grass, look at a tree, look at the beautiful sky, and take turns walking the dog. So it was a really great experience. And when we're walking, able to talk with each other, create social connections. And so it just kind of became a thing and people really look forward to it now. And so do we.
Yeah, and he walked today. So he's
And he walked today, so he's a little tired.
Is there something that people who have pets, that's something they can do, activities with their pets that kind of help with mindfulness?
Absolutely. I think that most people that do have pets, know that they can feel different when they're around their pets. A lot of people, it's kind of the thing that they look forward to when they get home. So your pet can actually be a grounding tool for you. There's this thing that we call co-regulation. It's a fancy word, but what it really means in simple terms is that our nervous systems are contagious, right? Have you ever been around someone or, someone that you don't know why, but every time you're around them, you just kind of feel a little anxious, or your kind of stress level goes up a little bit and I'm not sure why that happens. It's because of that, because we absorb the energy and the nervous systems of those around us. But in the same way, we also absorb a regulated nervous system. This is why it's so important in education for our teachers, those that are in our classrooms, to really come to our place of work, therapists, counselors, anyone in a place of regulation, because our nervous systems, we do absorb our nervous systems. So in the same way we can become stressed around people that stress us out, you can also feel calm and grounded around others, including animals that have the ability to ground us. And so we absorb their calm as they absorb ours. And it's actually a really beautiful relationship. I love neuroscience. I keep referring to it, but there's studies that show that with animals, our brain is changed after the interaction with the animal. There's a part in our brain that's able to light up, and through mirror neurons, we're able to mirror each other's nervous systems. And so I just think it's a beautiful tool to be able to have access to at home. The act of petting, right? Sensory, anything you could do sensory, allow your children to be able to hold the dog, pet the dog. Licking the skin can also have a very calming, sensory, soothing effect. And then on the other respect, activity. For people that maybe are struggling with isolation or loneliness or depression, a dog can also be very activating. I know a lot of times, I may be exhausted. I may not go on a walk for myself. But if he needs a walk, I'll get up and I'll go on a walk for him. And so it can also be, a way for me to get some mindfulness in. And so those are different ways that we can use our pets. There's a lot of other ways. But your pet can be a grounding tool for you and your family at home too. Yeah. Up here. This is what I was talking about petting. So just kind of the sensory, the feeling of just touch. This is grounding.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, another thing is eye contact with the dog. Well, he's very tired. This is the great thing about Willie, that he'll just kind of sit and people are able to be with him and just have the interaction of touching is a really great one, which can be very grounding in itself.
And tell me, so Willie is 5 years old?
He's 5 years old. We got him during the pandemic. And so it allowed a lot of time for interaction and training with him. But he also just has a really great temperament. He has a really great temperament and just loves people. And I think that's why he makes a really great therapy animal. He's an Australian Labradoodle.
Yeah.
And we call it AAT, Animal Assisted Therapy. And so there's a lot of different animals that can be used. There's even like horses, it's called equine. Even, cats are also another really common one. When we go out for events, we also come with cats as well. Even things like fish can also be because they're very calming, right? To watch them. And so it's not just dogs, and also it's not about a certain type of dog. What's most important when you're looking at, for a therapy animal, of course a pet, anybody's pet, but when you're looking at coming into like environments and, is the temperament of the dog and being able to, have a calming temperament and an interest and ability to be able to connect with people, as well as, some basic training and things like that. So
yeah, they're awesome. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk a little or ask you a little bit about ease before we close, because really what you said is, about the importance that we all are able to show up for our students, for each other. And ease is really a support for that. Do you mind just sharing briefly what you all do?
I'm always happy to talk about ease. So EASE is the Employee Assistance Service for Education through LACOE, and we support educators. We support people that work in school systems, and it's really I'm trying to really make it a focus of staff well-being. So it really is about staff well-being. We provide mental health counseling services for individuals and families. We also provide many different types of wellness workshops. We provide also support to schools in moments of crisis. There's a lot of support and resources available for our students and families when there's something that happens in the school environment or in the community. But we also have to remember that we need to look at our staff and those that are working in our schools and making sure that they have the resources and the supports needed. I've been really trying to change kind of the perception of ease and these types of services that are traditionally used when someone is in a moment of crisis. Yes, we are here to provide support in moments of crisis, but also to look at it as something that someone can engage in or get support with for just regular well-being, learning how to get more self-care in our life, learning how to focus on yourself, things like that. So knowing that it's not just for moments of crisis, but it's also for regular wellness as well.
Yeah, we are just so lucky to have you here at LACOE. I mean,
Thanks,
you've just
Liz.
been such a tremendous support for me, for my team, but also for like every time we call you and we just need that real human-centered approach of how we can help and support people who are experiencing challenges. You've just always been there and have kind of said the right thing or helped us
Thank
write the
you.
right thing. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. One of the things that's really important to me is really looking at stigma with mental health. I did a lot of that in my years working in school systems, but now with the focus on employees and really understanding that reaching out for support, it's not a sign of weakness. Traditionally and in our families, maybe it wasn't our first go-to. There's so many things that we can do for taking care of ourselves, but reaching out for support doesn't mean that, I'm weak or it's something, sometimes we have taboos like I'm crazy. If I use that, it must mean that I am not a strong person. And I think that we really need to kind of change that narrative and challenge that and saying that this is a source of strength, because when you're able to be well for yourself, you feel better, and then you're able to show up for others in your life, at work, in the classroom, and for the people that you love. And so I try to practice that and be that every day.
That's awesome. I mean, I know there's so much research that supports it, well-being for our staff in all levels of organizations, for leaders. It's just, it makes for a better organization.
Absolutely.
So I'd love for you, before we close, is to finish with a breathing technique and exercise that we can share.
Yes, I'd be happy to. I love the breath, like I mentioned. There's a lot of different techniques that we can participate in that can really help us. Awareness of the breath is the very first one. But my favorite, and the one that I tend to share the most because I think it's the most effective, it's the quickest, it's the most effective. And when you're really stressed, engaging in 3 cycles of this, you will feel the effects of it right away, is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. And I'll introduce it. And I know that we're going to move to a little script of it. Is the idea, and if you forget this, because it can be difficult to remember the numbers, what you really want to remember is that you want to have a longer exhale, a deep inhale, and you want to hold, and then you want to exhale for as long as you can. We talked about muscle memory, and this is definitely a practice that will get better with time. And the more you practice it, the longer you'll be able to hold and exhale. Sometimes you won't be able to exhale for 8 seconds. So if 5 seconds is your sweet spot, then just try for 5. And then as you practice, the longer you can exhale, the quicker your vagus nerve will be activated. So it's an inhale to 4 and a hold, and then a long, deep exhale. And then you'll do that in a cycle of 3.
I want to thank Dr. Emily Hernandez for reminding us that wellness doesn't require expensive equipment or an hour of free time. It just requires a moment of intention. Whether you're heading back into a classroom, an office, or a busy kitchen, take that sense of reset with you. For more resources on how EASE supports our school communities, visit our website, lacoe.edu. We leave you now with a 2-minute guided meditation to help you at home or in your classroom.
I invite you, when you take your next breath, to simply be more conscious. When you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Allow your breath to bring you into the present moment, right here, right now. Breathe through your nose. Inhale that cool air and nurture yourself with it. Exhale warm air and letting go of any tension and negative emotions that are with you right now. Feel your feet connecting you and rooting you to the floor and the earth. Gently focus on your posture by slowly lifting your chin until the top of your head radiates up towards the sky. Relax your shoulders. Relax them down like ice melting on a hot desert day, and feel your neck begin to grow long. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your jaw. Relax your ears. And relax the muscles at the back of your neck. Notice your breath and allow it to bring you into the present moment where you are safe and relaxed. Quiet your mind. Let the thoughts go by like leaves floating along in a stream. Bring your attention to your breath. Disconnect from the past and the future, just for right now. Enjoy fully the present moment, beginning to cultivate an inner sense of peace, a safe place in your heart filled with love and light. Breathe. 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 Slowly and gently, when you are ready, open your eyes.